Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Abazar Al-Hassan. I am from Department of Anatomy, Nile University. Today we will talk about the hand anatomy. This for the second medical students. I hope this video is beneficial for everyone. Let's start the session and go to the academy. We will start talking about the hand. The hand is the most distal part of the upper limb. It composed of palm, this is the palm, and sole, and dorsum. Dorsum is the hand, and this is the palm of the hand. We will talk mainly about the hand muscles, blood supply of the hand, and innervation of the hand. Firstly, we will talk about the muscles of the hand. The hand has 5 compartments. Firstly, this is the thinner compartment for the thumb. This is the hypothenor compartment for the little finger. Then mid-palmar part or central part, and interosseous part deeply, and lastly dorsum or extensors. 5 compartments. Firstly, we will talk about the thinner compartment. Thinner compartment composed of 3 muscles: abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, and obliquus pollicis. First, abductor pollicis brevis. It is originated from the trapezium and flexor retinaculum. This is the flexor retinaculum and trapezium, to be inserted into the base of proximal phalanx of the thumb. All thinner muscles are innervated by the recurrent branch of median nerve. Okay? This is the abductor pollicis brevis. Then, medial to it, this is called flexor pollicis brevis, originated from flexor retinaculum, to be inserted into same area as abductor pollicis brevis into the base of proximal phalanx of the thumb. Abductor pollicis brevis act as abduction of the thumb. Flexor pollicis brevis act as flexors of the thumb. Then deep to them is this muscle, is called obliquus pollicis. This muscle, obliquus pollicis, originated from flexor retinaculum and inserted into the first metacarpal bone. Then we move to talk about this muscle. It's called abductor pollicis muscle. This abductor pollicis muscle, it is originated, have 2 parts. The first part is oblique head, originated from second and third metacarpal bones, and transverse head, originated from the third metacarpal bone, to be inserted into the base of the base of the phalanx of the thumb, base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. Act as abduction of the thumb. This regarding the hypothenor, this regarding the thinner compartment of the thumb. Then we move to talk about the hypothenor compartment. This is the hypothenor compartment. Firstly, the most lateral, this muscle is called abductor digiti minimi. Then flexor digiti minimi, and the most deep, this obliquus digiti minimi. This muscle. Firstly, the abductor digiti minimi originated from pisiform bone and flexor retinaculum to be inserted into the base of the proximal phalanges of the little finger. Okay? All hypothenar muscle is innervated by deep branch of the ulnar nerve. Abductor DT minimi act as abduction for the little finger. Then flexor DT minimi brevis. Flexor DT minimi. Flexor DT minimi originated from the flexor retinaculum to be inserted into the base of proximal phalanges of the little finger. Act as flexor for the little finger. Then oponus pollicis. Oponus DT minimi. This oponus DT minimi originated from the flexor retinaculum to be inserted into the fifth metacarpal bone. Acts as opposition of the little finger. Okay? This regarding the hypothenar compartment. Then we'll move to talk about the mid-palmar or central part of the hand. It's composed of the long flexor tendons and lumbricals and palmar interossei. Firstly, this is the tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis, and this is tendon of, this is small tendon of flexor digitorum profundus, which crosses the tendon of flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay? From this tendon, this muscle arises from this tendon. This muscle is called lumbrical muscle. The lumbrical muscles, they are 4 in number, originated from the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus to be inserted into the extensor expansions of the medial fortus. This is the first lumbrical. Then this is the third lumbrical. This is the second lumbrical. Okay? Then we will talk about the palmar interossei muscle. This is the palmar interossei muscle. Okay? This muscle is called palmar interossei muscle. It is originated from the second, fourth, and fifth metacarpal bone to be inserted into the second, fourth, and fifth proximal phalanges of the each finger, of this finger. Okay? It is, they are 3 in numbers and unipinnate muscles. 3 in numbers and unipinnate muscles. This is palmar interossei muscle. Okay? Regarding the innervation of the muscles, firstly, as I said, the thinner group is innervated by recurrent branch of median nerve. The hypothinner group is innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. The abductor pollicis muscle, this is the abductor pollicis muscle, this muscle, okay, is innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. The interossei muscles is innervated by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. Okay? This regarding the innervation. Then we'll move to the cutaneous innervation of the bulb. The medial 3.5, this finger and this finger and half of this is innervated cutaneously by the median nerve. The little finger and half of the index finger is innervated by the ulnar nerve. The nails is innervated by the median nerve. Okay? Then we move to talk about the blood supply of the palm. The blood supply of the palm, this is the ulnar artery, and this is the ulnar nerve. Okay? You must note that the artery is deep to the nerve. Generally, the artery is deep to the nerve. The ulnar artery then divided into the superficial palmar branch and deep palmar branch. Okay, this is the deep and this is the superficial. The superficial palmar branch of the ulnar artery anastomosis with this branch, which called the superficial palmar branch of the radial artery. This to form this structure is called superficial palmar arch of the palm. Okay, so the superficial palmar arch of the palm is mainly composed of superficial palmar branch of the ulnar artery. But the deep palmar arch is mainly formed by the deep branch of the radial artery. Okay? Then the superficial palmar branch divides into many branches, which is called common digital palmar branch. Then the common digital palmar branch divided into two proper digital palmar branch. Okay? Then the radial artery divides into two branches to supply the thumb and the index. The thumb, the branch of the thumb is called the princeps pollicis arteria, and for the index is called indicis radialis arteria. Okay, this regarding the blood supply of the palm of the hand. Okay. Move to talk about the dorsum of the hand, or the posterior part of the hand, the dorsum. The dorsum composed mainly of the extensor of the forearm, like the extensor digitorum muscle, this extensor digitorum muscle, and the anatomical slope box. The anatomical slope box composed of this muscle is called abductor pollicis, abductor pollicis longus. This is the abductor pollicis longus. This is the flexor pollicis brevis, and this is the flexor pollicis longus. Okay, forms the muscles of the anatomical slope box. Then this muscle, bipinnate muscle, is called the dorsal interossei. Dorsal interossei muscle, 4 in numbers, and bipinnate muscle. Unlike the palmar interossei, which are unipinnate muscle and 3 in number. The origin of dorsal interossei from the second, third, and fourth metacarpals from each side to be inserted in the second, third, and fourth proximal phalanges of each finger. Okay? This muscle, another muscle of dorsal interossei. Okay? Regarding the blood supply of the dorsum of the hand, it is from the radial artery. The dorsal branches from the radial artery. Regarding the innervation, cutaneous innervation of the dorsum of the hand, the three fingers and half by the radial nerve, and the little finger and the ring finger, half of the ring finger by the ulnar nerve. So 3.5 by the radial nerve, 1.5 by the ulnar nerve. Thank you. Finally, we will talk about the movements of the thumb and the actions of the muscles of the hand. Firstly, we will begin by the thumb flexion and extension. So this is the thumb flexion and this is the thumb extension. Okay? Then we will move to talk about the abduction and abduction of the thumb. So this is the abduction of the thumb by the adductor pollicis, and this is the abduction of the thumb by abductor pollicis brevis. Okay? Then we will talk about the interossei muscles action. The palmar interossei causes abduction of the fingers. So if this is normal side, abduction means the fingers goes toward each other. So this abduction. And the dorsal interossei causes abduction. The fingers away from each other. This abduction and this abduction. Okay? Also, the interossei help the lumbrical muscles in their action. Then we move to talk about the lumbrical muscles. The lumbrical muscles causes flexion of metacarpophalangeal joint. This flexion of metacarpophalangeal joint and extension of the interphalangeal joint. This is the extension of interphalangeal joint. Okay, this is the interphalangeal joint extension and flexion of metacarpophalangeal joint. See, metacarpophalangeal joint. Okay. This regarding the movements of the hand. Thank you. This is the end of the session. Thank you.